My name is Payal and I am from the Management Study Guides content team. Welcome to the course Basics of Statistics. Liu Chang works as a team leader in the Learning and Development Department at Helios Inc. In his recent appraisals, Liu has been promoted as the assistant manager. Liu's key responsibilities as an assistant manager would be to determine the training and development needs of the employees of Helios. Also, to determine the type and level of training required by various teams and new employees, and to analyze the pre-training and post-training skill levels of the employees. Therefore, the main focus of Liu in his new role would be to collect and analyze data regarding the various skills of the employees, their areas of improvement, areas where they need to develop new skill sets, etc. Liu had always been appreciated by the senior management for his dedicated and proficient work as a team leader. However, after his promotion, he is finding it difficult to cope with the challenges in his new role as an assistant manager. Liu found that in his new role, he is constantly required to analyze large amounts of data. He has assigned one of his subordinates, Kate, to collect various data related to his queries. However, Liu found that when Kate collected the data and collated it all in the form of graphs, he was just not able to understand the data. Liu had to design a training program for one of the teams in the operations department to help them enhance their soft skills. He asked Kate to collect the data regarding the current soft skills levels of the members of the team and also the areas where they perceive that they need to improve. Kate collected the data and represented it in the form of a pie chart so that Liu could analyze and interpret the data at a glance. However, Liu could not understand the pie chart and interpret it. Instead, he chose to go through almost 20 pages of data that Kate had collected for the purpose. Yet, Liu could not make any sense of all the 20 pages. This was because he could not see the complete data in a snapshot as was shown by the pie chart. Hence, Liu understood that it was important for him to learn and understand statistics to succeed in his new role. Statistics is the branch of applied mathematics that is concerned with the collection, organization, analysis, interpretation, and presentation of quantitative data. Therefore, you can understand that it is crucial that you have a good grasp of statistics to succeed in the corporate world. This is because in any organization, almost all information is represented in the form of data that is communicated through reports. Large chunks of such quantitative data is collected, organized, and presented using statistics in a concise form to help people analyze and interpret the data for their purposes. Let us learn about basics of statistics in detail. Let's take a look at the objectives that we will be covering during this course. Explain what is statistics, describe the uses of statistics, explain the types of variables, explain the major sources of data, explain the key terms of statistics, explain the steps for presentation of data, explain the various measures of central tendency, explain the methods of graphical presentation of data, explain what is a frequency distribution table, explain what is probability, explain what is combination, explain what is permutation, explain what is variance, explain what is standard deviation, and finally describe the types of discrete distributions. So, let's begin with the course Basics of Statistics. Let's understand the root words of statistics. The English word statistics has been derived from and has its roots in several different languages such as status or status in Latin, statistic in German, statista in Italian, and statistique in French. Statistics is a very important branch of mathematics and it has several uses such as follows. It helps in gaining a better understanding of a phenomenon of nature. It helps in capturing and getting the exact description of a phenomenon of nature. In any field of study, statistics helps in conducting in a proper, organized and efficient planning of a statistical inquiry. There are various sources through which you can collect primary data, such as interviews, surveys, schedules or questionnaires, experimentation, observations. Key terms of statistics: random variables. Random variables are the quantities measured in a study. Observation. An observation is a particular outcome. Sample. Sample is a subset of the whole population which is observed because in practice we cannot usually observe the whole population. The following are the steps involved in presentation of data. Step number 1, classification of data. Step number 2, tabulation of data. Step number 3, frequency distribution of data. Step number 4, diagrammatic presentation of data. And step number 5, graphic representation of data. Let's understand each of these in detail. The measures of central tendency of a data is a measure of the average of the data. Therefore, the measures of central tendency usually means the center of the distribution or the center of the data which represents the average value of the data or distribution. There are 3 ways of measuring the central tendency of a data or the measures of central tendency, such as number 1 is mean, number 2 median, number 3 is mode. Let's take a look at each of these in detail. There are various kinds of graphs that can be used for presenting the data in a graphical form. Some of the most commonly used graphs in statistics for presenting the data graphically are as follows. Number 1, histogram. Number 2, pie chart. Number 3, bar graph or bar chart. Number 4, frequency polygons. Number 5, line graph. Number 6, scatter chart, scatter diagrams or dot plot. Number 7, ogive. Number 8, Venn diagram. Number 9, stem and leaf plots. Number 10, box and whisker plots or box plots. Histogram. A histogram is a graphical representation of data through a vertical bar chart showing the frequency of how often a particular variable occurred and where relative frequencies are represented by relative areas. A frequency distribution table is a tabular summary of a set of data which shows the frequency or number of items corresponding to each of the many known overlapping classes or bins. Such a frequency distribution table can be created for both quantitative and qualitative data. A frequency distribution table is important as in order to create a histogram, you must first make a quantitative frequency distribution. It is a usual practice that for quantitative data, the classes are typically contiguous and of equal width. Permutation is an act of changing the lineal order of objects in a group. Hence, permutation means an order or a sequence. A formula for the number of possible permutations of k objects from a set of n. This is usually written npk is as follows, where p is equal to permutation, n is equal to total number of objects, k is how many objects you're taking at a time, and the exclamation symbol is multiply with reducing numbers till it reaches 1. Example of variability. Have you ever played darts? Have you ever shot a rifle? What is the point of these sports? And what makes them hard? Who is the better shooter, Edward or Myra? Standard deviation is equal to square root of variance. As you can see over here, average score of Edward is 8.4, variance is 1, standard deviation is 1. Myra's average score is 6.6, variance is 0.24, and the standard deviation is 0.4898979. But what good is a standard deviation? Number 1 is binomial distribution. This is a type of discrete probability distribution. It is used when there are exactly 2 mutually exclusive outcomes of a trial. These 2 mutually exclusive outcomes are appropriately labeled as success and failure. This kind of a distribution is used to obtain the probability of observed k successes in n trials with the probability of success on a single trial denoted by p. The following is the formula for binomial distribution.